everybody. This is Joe at the Middle Ground Mike. I just want to do a quick Sunday morning news update. Apparently the United States has bombed Iranian nuclear facilities with what they call bunker busters. Now Iran is talking about closing of the Straits of Hormuz. I can't pronounce it correctly. What that's going to do is that's going to drive up oil futures, which is going to hurt the middle class because oil prices are going to go up, which raises gas prices. This is not our war. I get that America, we don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons. I can understand that point. But this war, this conflict was not started by us. It was not initiated by us. We were just telling Benjamin Netanyahu not to assassinate the supreme leader of Iran. And apparently the Trump government, or Trump administration, I should say, called the Iranian government and said that this is just targeting nuclear facilities. This is not regime change. Well, I would not be surprised if Iran didn't buy that, because I'm not sure if you bomb my country, if I would believe you either. I get that America, we have to defend our interests. We have to defend our country. But this, most things that Iran would say was more rhetoric. They never actually attacked us. This was, I think, a mistake. Trump ran on a platform of peace through strength. That is definitely not what is happening here. We're better than that. We've got to be better than that. Let's be peaceful. We do not need to be starting another war. It is not good for the United States. It is not good for the world. It is not good for the Middle East. It is not good for Israel. Peace, not war. If we were attacked, different story. And for the people saying that, well, the president doesn't have the authority, trying to invoke the War Powers Act, things of that nature. Actions like this have been taken by presidents for going all the way back. I can think of Harry Truman. Obama did very similar things. So did Joe Biden. So did, Bush, Clinton, Reagan, Carter, Nixon, Ford, Kennedy, Eisenhower. Do I agree, that maybe there needs to be a little bit more oversight before an action like this is taken? Yes, I do. There's reports out there that the Republican leaders in Congress and Senate were informed, but not Democratic leaders. I don't know if that's true, but if it is true, that's terrible taste. Very, very, very terrible taste. No matter what political allegiances or not, if you're going to bomb a country, the leaders in Congress of all parties should be notified, even if it's a small third party. Everybody should know what's going on. Our government is not designed for the president to act with impunity. That needs to stop. There's a reason why they put a term limit on presidents, because there was people who were rumored to want to make FDR king. It wasn't a huge chunk of the country, but there was a lot of push for it within a certain section of the government while he was alive. So, that's kind of why they did that. I mean, FDR was elected, I believe, 3 or 4 times. That's why things like that were done, right? So let's use that same context when it comes to things like bombing another country. All that does is incite war. It incites, people to rise up and do things against American interests around the world that they may not have otherwise done. I'm not saying that we need to roll over and lay down. No, not by any means. If they do something, we need to stand up for ourselves. But this war right now with Iran is Israeli war with Iran, not American. We need not to be Benjamin Netanyahu's stooge. This was a stooge act. This was incited by Benjamin Netanyahu. Terrible thing to do. Very, very, very terrible. Donald Trump, be better. Honor the peace that you ran on. Honor that. That is the reason why a lot of people that were very middle of the road voted for you, because you were conservative, but you advocated for peace. You weren't a war hawk. This is a move that a war hawk would go after, that a warmonger would go after. Tucker Carlson, one of your biggest supporters, just went after Ted Cruz for this way of thinking. The rumors are that that Tulsi Gabbard has moved to the side, because I guarantee you, maybe not guarantee, let me rephrase that. I have a strong feeling that Tulsi Gabbard would not be in support of this action based on her own statements and her history. So that is just a terrible thing. I really hope that it's not true that Tulsi Gabbard was pushed to the side, and I would hope that she, even though this action was taken, would still be opposed to it. That's all I have to say on this for today, on the Iran thing. I hope this catches everybody doing well, and let's hope for a peaceful resolution and that we can move further and move beyond this. And some level of peace and level-headed actions can be taken in Iran. Have a good day, everybody.